Hey weirdos. This isn't your
Hey.
average this isn't your average history lesson. We're telling stories that you didn't learn in school.
Tales of ghosts, monsters, strange and unique happenings that defy explanation.
So, if you're ready to look past the surface and into the shadows, you've come to the right place. Let's get weird.
Yay!
Let's get weird.
Let's get weird.
Okay. Let's see. What have we got today? So, today we're going to be talking about a couple of monsters, but the first one I have is the Beaman Monster. And
I've never heard of that.
and as a lifelong Missourian, I had never even heard of Beaman, Missouri. I'm very shocked.
Okay, so we're getting an
But
education ourselves.
there are a lot of tiny little towns that I've never heard of in Missouri, so here we are. Beaman, Missouri is located, I think we have a picture here. It's just northeast of Sedalia. And Sedalia, as many of our folks know, is the original, very first capital of Missouri. Actually, I think it was Versailles, but then it was Sedalia, and now it's Jefferson City.
Jefferson City, yep.
Yay! So anyway, the Beaman Monster. It's a tale that I don't know started from the 1890s to the 1900s. Thereabouts is when it's supposedly started. And legend tells of a 12-foot tall gorilla-like creature with red eyes. I think we might have some pictures as well. Well, that's kind of, I don't even know that's just frightening. I mean,
Yeah.
if I were to come up on that, that would just terrify me.
Yeah, that would be like a no. I'm out. I'm done.
And others describe it as a monster that's shaped like a wolf or a coyote.
So it sounds like they're just taking a little bit of everything that's out there slightly.
Right.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. So I found one story of an 81-year-old Sedalia native. He heard of a story that he said it can be traced back by his dad back to the early 1900s. Was that a circus train wrecked because circus trains were a big deal. There's a whole website of like circus train crashes.
Well, and there's always a circus train that crashed, an animal got away, and this is where these have come from. But continue.
And the year 2000, like I mean, they were still having circus train crashes in the modern era.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just bizarre. Anyway, I mean, in Illinois, there's a whole graveyard to like a 1915 circus train crash of where all the animals died. It was horrible. It's horrible. Anyway, I digress. So the circus train wrecked. He said it was the year 1904.
Okay.
And I did some research. I was like, were there any train crashes in Sedalia in 1904? And there were none. There were no train crashes. There were no train crashes in 1900 near Sedalia. But I did find that there was a train crash in the 1892. I think my research found 1892 that there was a circus train crash near oh good Lord, where is it? Centralia, Missouri.
Okay.
Which is about an hour away from Sedalia. Hour and a half or so away. So if we're going on that the creature or the whatever that they were seeing is the possible descendants of said circus train crash, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe not. Circus train crashes. During the train crash, a 12-foot tall gorilla had escaped. 12 feet.
What, a 12-foot gorilla. Okay.
12 feet.
First in history, but okay.
Many people believe now that the Beaman Monster is the offspring of said escaped gorilla.
Okay.
Our resident, whose name is Russell, he goes on to state that one of his uncles, who was residing in the area, told him about a hunt that had happened, like imagine the Frankenstein with the pitchforks and the torches and the
Oh, okay. So the locals went to hunt this.
in the 1950s.
Okay, do we know why in the 50s they decided to hunt it? I mean, why so long?
I have a suspicion.
Okay.
So there was a story that the uncles gathered the posse, took to the cornfield,
Yeah.
carrying shotguns. Thank you. To get the descendant. No. And then he went on to say, bless his heart, it seems like they revive that story every 50 years. Dad said when the boys would get out of hand, they'd call out the Beaman Monster if you didn't behave. I never did see anything.
Well, bless his little pointed head.
Russell. Apparently, Damon, another resident of Sedalia, claims to have seen the creature firsthand when he was just 10. And now he's like a whopping age of 30. But he said he was riding in one of his uncle's pickup trucks. He witnessed a wolf-like creature emerge from the woods and run alongside the vehicle. He said it wasn't quite animalistic, but it was. He said he couldn't understand what it was.
Okay, so they've just got quite the mixing pot of cryptids.
Right.
Okay.
Apart from the eyewitness accounts, there have actually been reports of physical evidence. So here's your physical evidence.
Okay.
Another resident, 41-year-old man, discovered enormous footprints around his parents' barn when he was 12. And he said that the prints were so large that he and his friends couldn't match the stride.
Okay. Everything so far sounds like Bigfoot, Dogman. I mean, okay.
It's the right
Okay.
area, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
In addition to the footprints, there have been instances of animals found mauled to death in the farm areas, with no signs of another animal's presence.
Okay. Aliens now?
So
I
here we
mean, we're just hitting all the bases. Okay.
Well, right. So here's where the fun surfaces. So remember back in the 50s when the uncles were going out with a posse to go find the horrid creature.
With the pitchforks.
Yep. So not everybody is convinced that the Beaman Monster is a genuine paranormal entity.
Okay.
Some believe that the legend originated from the prank in the 50s. Okay, here we go. Jerry, he's a 65-year-old resident from Sedalia, so yeah, recalls a group of teenagers who stole a construction sign with flashing lights. You remember back in the day?
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you and your friends maybe borrowed one.
I
Me and
wouldn't
my
know
friends
anything about
may have
that. Mm-mm.
borrowed
Mm-mm.
one. I knew
Yeah.
a guy. I had a friend of a friend who
Yeah.
knew a
It
guy.
was always a friend of a friend that did that
Right,
stuff, right?
right.
Okay.
We would never.
Never.
Anyway, they stole this construction sign with the flashing lights, and hid in a field near Beaman. And then they would just, I don't know, they would have people drive people out there
to
to
see
see
the
how
flashing lights in the field.
gullible they were and to see how close they would get.
Actually, that kind of sounds like fun, but anyway.
Well, right. I mean, it totally sounds like some shit my high school friends that I
Yeah.
knew would
Sounds
have
like
done.
teenagers. Come on. Or
Right.
at least teenagers when
Exactly.
we grew up. Now they
Exactly.
might be
Exactly.
offended, but anyway.
Exactly. But however, whether you believe prank or something, circus train crash or whatever, um, it's still the story still continues.
Okay.
Um, it there's still a lack of concrete evidence, but then there's the word of mouth stories. Some still describe it as the Sasquatch like creature, others describe it as a wolf or a coyote. um the truth remains elusive, but one thing is certain: the Beaman Monster has become an integral part of the local folklore, which is why I
Okay.
love folklore. This is why I
Right.
love all of these little stories and things, because it's,
Yeah.
whether it started out from a big bear maybe that looked like a cat, I don't know.
A mangy bear,
That
12 feet
somebody
tall,
saw from
rolled
their
into
kitchen window.
town.
Right, right, right. Aunt Ida was out hanging up the wash.
And
Like,
having a
what
nip
the
of this,
hell is that? Right, right.
She
Exactly.
was drinking and
Exactly.
hanging the wash out when that thing came running
Exactly.
through the backyard, nearly took her out. Sorry. Girl, I tell you what.
Earl, go
Okay.
get your boys. No, right. Um So, whether the creature is the offspring of an escaped circus gorilla, a mysterious wolf-like beast, or just simply the product of overactive imaginations, the legend endures. So
Well, there you go.
let's take a road trip to Sedalia.
I think we should do that the next time you're down here. We'll go up there and look for ourselves. How about
I mean,
that?
the Bothwell Lodge. I mean, that's another story I could do. The Bothwell Lodge in Sedalia,
Yeah.
that on 65,
Mhm.
that beautiful mansion. Oh, I did a tour
Yep.
there one time. It was
We've
fun.
we've got all kinds of places, We got all kinds of
All
places here
of
in
the
Missouri.
places.
Yeah, yeah. So what
Want to
else
know
you got
another
for me?
place? Another
Yeah,
place I got.
yeah,
And
tell
we
me.
we touched on this in, like, maybe was it our second show
I think it
with
was actually
Shane?
our first show.
Our first
Well,
show?
I think we talked about it a little bit in the very first one, and then we talked about
Yeah,
it with Shane. So, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So this takes us to Douglas County, Missouri.
Ooh, Booger County.
The Blue Man of Spring Creek.
Yes.
So, the Blue Man of Spring Creek, let's see here, is reported by tie haulers, and I'm thinking those are the wooden ties
Yeah.
for, yeah.
Yep.
Who reached Willow Springs recently from, okay, they suppose Wildman had not been seen in the old haunts since 1911. Um, they're looking for, I guess the man, I'm reading a newspaper clipping here. The, they got a glimpse of a wild man stealing 2 lambs and captured a hog. Wow,
Wow.
isn't that great? Who doesn't love that? Um, since then, other persons have seen the blue man, according to the word brought in by the tie haulers. The Blue Man of Spring Creek was reported by the wilds of Douglas County as early as 1865. Um,
And was that by Saul or
Blue Saul Collins was hunting
Blue
in the
Saul
divide.
Collins?
Yep,
Yes.
he was hunting between North Fork and Spring Creek, and a light snow had fallen, and there were just tracks everywhere, turkey tracks, deer tracks, all the tracks,
Yep.
um,
Everything. Yep.
big and little, everything was out. And Saul was a hunter, and he saw something that looked like something that resembled a bear.
Mhm.
And so he followed the track with the claw like, in the snow. And after following the trail for several hours, he suddenly came across what he had been following. He looked up, jumped out of the path of several boulders. It was throwing boulders at him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so he was like, I'm out of here.
Out
I
of
don't
here. Done.
I'm out of here. Um, and then the newspapers in the area reported, similar periodic encounters that followed.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't only tied to Douglas County. At other times, he'd been seen in Ozark and Howell counties.
Well, because Douglas County is so
Just
in the
right
city
there.
of Ozark or the county Ozark?
Well, it says such Ozark County.
Ozark County. Okay, that's a
Yeah,
little different. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
But that's
that's
still,
yeah.
in the same,
Mm-hmm.
realm of area.
Right. And did it tell you in your research, why they called him the Blue Man?
Well, yeah, because he was supposed to have been covered in blue hair or blue fur, or it
Well,
appeared that way in the daylight,
okay.
in the
So the part of the
sunlight.
story that I have been told by other investigators, there's a couple of reasons, right?
Mhm.
So Saul, people called him Blue Saul because of
Blue
the
Saul,
affiliation that he fought for in the Civil
right?
War.
Right?
Okay. So that was one of the reasons, because it was something that
That would make
Saul saw.
Blue Saul calling.
So
Yep,
yeah, and everybody called him Blue Saul. So it became the Blue Man because of Blue Saul. The
right,
other was he talked about the sheen of its fur, right?
right.
So it was so black that, when the sun shines on something very black, it'll have a
Yeah,
blue sheen to it. So it was also said that that's how it got its name, was because of the sheen of its fur.
right.
So they'd still tell those stories, those legends to today over there. That's something that if you find locals that are into
Yeah,
Bigfoot, they tell that story. And like we said, Shane told the story.
yep.
The Blue Man is a very alive legend in
It's
Missouri.
very alive. Right. Well, and I like the fact too that, hair or not, he also apparently wears clothes, like pelts and hides and dog skins, bones, feathers.
Yeah, I've heard that too, so it's like, huh, I don't know if any of the stories ever talk about how big he is, you know, um, but yeah, they say he's been known to, have
To be very
clothing. Yeah,
right,
yeah. So
right. And it's,
it's interesting.
the Douglas County area. I mean, and the years are, I mean 1874, 1890, 1911,
Mhm.
1915. Willow
Mhm.
Springs saw him near Blue Rock Mountain.
Mhm. Well, and there's
Um,
several areas over there that have blue in their name too. So I mean,
right,
there's
right,
there's there's a multitude of reasons that it's called the Blue Man.
right. Um, let's see, when is Blue Man of Spring Creek? He's back in his old haunts. I don't know. I just think it's I don't know. I just love I don't even know what I'm trying to say. The legends that were brought, you know, from the settlers, the Scots and the Irish that came, this way from Appalachia, that brought in these tales
Right.
of
And this is
superstition and
yeah. And
folk.
this is a recurring one, like you said. You've got the years that it was documented, and I don't believe that there was too much like that. Now, I could be wrong. This is just probably the most popular one because that part of southern Missouri is very rural,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of activity in the southern part of Missouri.
Right.
At this point, there's a lot of activity everywhere, but there's a lot of activity that people talk about in that part of the country.
Right.
So, it's a legend, but it's a
Yep.
legend that there's some truth to, I believe.
There
I mean,
absolutely is. There absolutely is. I mean, with it being, I mean, the area that's prolific, for, Bigfoot and boogers and wildmen and things you can't explain. Of course, that area is going to be wild with tales of
oh
we don't
yeah,
even know what living in caves where.
right. Well, and there's another story you should probably research. In Douglas County back in the 1920s,
Mhm.
there was an extremely large wolf killed,
Okay.
and not far from the private property that we go on for our expedition. And it is in the paper.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
the landowner over there told us about it. And it's like, how long have wolves been gone from Missouri? And I don't know that they were, I think they're the red wolves that are here anyway. They're not
Mhm.
supposed to be the big wolves, the timber wolves. But that just tells you that there are things out there that we still don't know about.
Sure.
You know, for years they told us there were no bear here. Okay, well, there's bear here.
There's bear
For
here.
years they told us there were no mountain lions. There's mountain lions here. I hate to tell you, but
Mhm.
there is. So it's like, what else is out
Mhm.
there? You know, I mean, what else? So yeah,
There, we are just beginning to scratch the surface with what's out there.
exactly. And digging into the legends, because I've always heard this and I've always been told this. Every legend starts with a bit of truth.
Mhm.
You just have to figure out what the truth is.
What
So,
that truth is it,
exactly,
you
exactly.
know, it lies somewhere in
Yep,
between the things.
exactly. So,
So, do you want to tell the people about your conference you got
oh,
coming up here before we
absolutely.
go?
Absolutely. So, October the 3rd is the VIP night, and that's going to be held at the Elks Lodge in Ozark, Missouri. You will get a dinner, and also you will get to participate in a podcast with the speakers. And then on Friday, October the 4th, that is the conference itself. It's from 9 a.m. until 4:30. Those tickets are only available on eventbrite.com.
Only available.
Only available there. And you can either do just day of conference, you can do just the VIP, or you can do a combination. That's what is available there. Now, we are to the point with our camp out that we do, and that will be right after the conference until Wednesday morning, so the
Mhm.
4th through the 8th. I have 6 spots left. And those you have to reach out to me through Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference on Facebook and private message me, and we can talk about those. But I am down to only having 6
Mhm.
spots left. So if that's something you want, you better jump on it because those aren't going to be out there long. So,
Nope.
and I also wanted tonight, we will get you a link for this going forward. I don't have it tonight. But yesterday we participated it's called a moth market here in southern Missouri. And it's an oddities, uh, basically show sale type thing. And the lady that does that, her name is Minda, and she is phenomenal. Her next moth market is going to be October the 18th. And I'm going to be there. We will get links. It's going to be in Springfield, Missouri at the fairgrounds in the Recplex building. But we will get links for that for you guys going forward. We want to promote that and show up for her because she's been so good to us. So that's all I got, girl.
All right. Well, that's all the weirdness we have for this week. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey into the weird heart of Missouri.
If you enjoyed this episode, take a moment and subscribe. It helps us keep the lights on and the boogers at bay.
And if you have a weird story, we want to hear it. You can find the link in our email in the show's description. And until next time, stay weird.
Stay weird.